which I think it's critical for people to have mentors. And that's why I'm passionate about pouring into the life of younger kids, high school kids, and being there as a mentor to them. And,
Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Paul Counts. Paul Counts is an online marketer. Paul has been making money online for over 19 years. So it doesn't matter if you're starting out in business or if you're trying to grow your current business. Paul knows all the keys and secrets to growing your business online successfully. Paul is passionate about giving back and has devoted time, energy, and effort to making sure that the next generation has some skills and techniques to use in their future endeavors in life, going so far as to help high school kids learn the fundamentals of marketing. In today's masterclass, you're going to learn directly from the master himself, Paul Counts. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at huntyourfuture.com. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome Paul Counts.
Hey, Donovan, so glad that I can be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I'm so excited to have you here with us today. I am so pumped and thrilled that you were able to join us today.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here, and I appreciate the time. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. And in staying with this positive vibe, what would you say is your number one quote or mantra that you say or think to yourself on a daily basis?
Yeah, so there's several that I live by. One of my favorites is from Pistol Pete Maravich, great basketball player, used to play, and somebody that I admired and looked up to. I used to want to have hoop dreams, right, as a kid. And so I used to always watch, and it was love never fails, character never quits, and with patience and persistence, dreams do come true. And that has by far been one of my favorite things from Pistol Pete, one of my favorite quotes out there. And it really speaks into the power of persistence, and how critical that is to success and being limitless in your life, right?
100%, because you always have to keep bettering your best, continue moving forward. And Pistol Pete really, if you know his story, and you do, he's really incredible how he just never gave up.
Never gave up, was told no at every turn, and he just kept fighting and kept pushing, and people, always every turn, no, you can't do this, can't do that. And one of the best basketball players ever. So it's just what it takes.
Yes, absolutely. So in going to that successful point that you're wanting to get to in your life on your journey, what would you say are some challenges or setbacks or failures that you've had to go through in order to get to where you are now?
Yeah. So, there's been a couple challenges, failures, along the way. I mean, it's the common, we all face the minor failures, right? Where there's technology hiccups, there's, things that you're not expected to be thrown at you. You've got, those kind of situations. But I'll give a specific example. I mean, one of the examples was, and this kind of example of having grit though, is I took on the role of producing a feature film. So that was in California, and it took a lot of grit in itself, because people were telling me, you can't make a movie, you're not going to go SAG, you can't make a movie in under 14 days, you can't use, you're not going to be able to use the good equipment. You're not going to be able to do all these things. No, is what everybody told us. And I just said, yes, everything there became a yes. We filmed in 13 days. We went SAG, meaning we had the union actors. We had Disney Channel stars star in our movie. We had people that recognizable names. We did it under budget. We filmed on the $40,000, $50,000 cameras that Hollywood uses, because we were able to negotiate a deal to not have to buy them, to rent them, just everything. We were able to film in downtown Sacramento, in the city, for free. We were able to film in all these other areas that people would say, no, you can't film, but we made it work, right? So a lot of work went into that, making that happen, and showing a lot of grit, showing a lot of hustle. It's a great story that I can still tell to this day. But after that movie was done, we're now in the 5th year, I think. Yeah, year 5 since it was filmed. And 5+ years now later, we're still in a litigation, there's still like, there were lawsuits that happened, police investigation. I mean, you talk about the mess. It was somebody that you thought was a friend that decided to, to misuse funds and not make it happen. And I mean, those are issues that we deal with in life. You're going to have friendships failure. You're going to have relationships failure. You're going to have life is going to come at you. You're going to have financial failures. You're going to have all these failures that come at you, business ventures that don't go well. Like, I mean, just the list goes on, and that's just life. Like that, those are things that happen. And so that's one example of a major setback. It actually, at one point my business was flowing. And then I decided that I was going to go, this movie opportunity came up, everything was good. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and they can railroad you, but you can't let that define who you are. You can't let their opinions or what those kind of things define who you are. You have to keep fighting, keep pushing. And since then, things have just escalated in a new direction that I didn't think was possible.
100%, because you took on the bull by the horns, and you realized that you were still strong enough to push back, and you were stronger than you even thought you were.
Yes, 100%. And and that's so true. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you don't realize how strong you are. And I think when you're trying to exercise, work out, being somebody that played in sports too, I can tell you that when you're working really hard, your body you can always push yourself a little bit further. You may not think you can, but you can. It's typically your mind telling you can't do something. And so you can always push yourself a little bit further. I mean, I'm not saying to give up sleep and those things. I mean, those things are important. I've learned over my journey, I need to take care of my health too, because there were times where I was burning the crazy hours, and that led to poor health. So it's that balance. You still got to get that balance. I mean, that's why Star Wars is so popular, right? So
Absolutely. So what was the aha moment where everything just shifted from going from a crazy production schedule, going through all that litigation? What would you say is a major shift that happened that helped you really to like 10x your business and get to that next level?
Yeah, it's when you realize that the opinions of other people really don't count, for like, they really don't count. They don't matter. What other people think of you doesn't matter. What really counts is what who you are, the person that you look at in the mirror. And if you can look back at yourself and feel fine about that person, that's really what counts. It's not what anybody else thinks of you. I mean, I always give people a great example that, if God, my kids, and my mom are okay with who I am, then that's all that I need, and if you're doing the right things, those people are going to be okay with what you are and who you are and what you're doing. And so, those are things that I look at, and really the opinions of other people doesn't matter. And it's that quote that I really like. It's called one third of the people will love you, third of the people will hate you, and a third of the people aren't going to care either way. And it's so true. I mean, when I first heard that quote, I was in high school. When I first heard that quote, and I thought, that's a great quote. I used it in my graduation speech. I used it, and that quote has also stuck with me throughout my life. And as I've gone on my journey, back then, I didn't think it was true, but I've learned in life, there are a third of the people that are going to hate you, a third that will love you, and a third that don't care. The people that don't care, I don't care about them, but the people that hate me, a lot of people say, forget them. I look at them as fuel for my fire to drive me forward. So when there's people that come at you in life, use that as a fuel to light your fire so that you can keep going to succeed at whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Now, in using that as fuel to your fire to get to that next level, what are you working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Yeah, so a couple of great things we're working on right now. We are in a partnership with DECA, so Washington State DECA program. So we are actually, it's really exciting. So we're actually providing marketing curriculum to DECA students. DECA is a business and entrepreneurship program for kids in schools, right? And so we're really pumped because they're taking on our marketing training, and then we're actually teaching them real life marketing because they're going to go out into the real world and actually work with businesses for free, implement what we teach them, be able to help businesses that are struggling due to this pandemic that hit, the unfortunate pandemic. So they're going in there, and they're just doing some amazing things. So it's fantastic.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So where can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners go to learn more about you, what you have going on, as well as to learn about these opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. You can find us at marketingcounts.com. So that's marketingcounts.com. That's where you can find everything we're working on, and we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, definitely. No, glad to be here.
Now, in getting to this level, you've helped so many different people all across the world, all across so many different levels. What would you say is the number one piece of advice that you yourself have been given that you can now pass on to the Limitless Nation?
Yeah, the number one piece of advice is, it's from a gentleman that helped me, very successful businessman, and he really poured into my life as a kid, which I think it's critical for people to have mentors, and that's why I'm passionate about pouring into the life of younger kids, high school kids, and being there as a mentor to them. And we spoke to my high school, which is just a great honor, and spoke at college, and just different things. Just love to pour into their lives, because I had that happen to me. And his advice, he would always call me on it if I didn't take notes on something that was important. He'd say, "You're not going to remember it." He's like, the key to successful entrepreneurs that he knew and that he learned at a young age was, entrepreneurs have short leads in their pencils because they're taking notes. Like, that's what he said. So I don't write with a pencil. It's usually pen and paper. But to this day, I would rather write, even though I'm a digital marketer and I write and I do stuff online, I write my to-do list, my task list, my thoughts. Those things get written down by hand because it's coming from here to here. And I think it sticks a little better. And so that's a great piece of advice. Make notes, do those things are really critical.
Absolutely. It reminds me of that quote that I read a long time ago. Essentially, it said the faintest ink is sharper or stronger than the strongest mind. Knowing that what you write down, you're going to remember for far longer than what you try to memorize or put, I'll remember that later.
Yeah, it's a good one. No, that's a really good example. Great example for sure. I love it.
Now, with you getting to this level of success, going basically toe to toe with everything against you, seeming like there's no real way to win and you beat the odds, what would you say is a number one habit that helped you really conquer all of the things that were standing in your way?
Yeah, I'd say, the number one habit is it's an important one, is you forget quickly. That's a habit I've gotten into. So if something goes wrong, you forget, you just forget and you just move on from it. And of course, the other habit is just having a consistent workflow and work schedule and that work-life balance we're always trying to get. But really just knowing that, all right, I'm focusing for this time frame on this task that I'm working on. And that makes a big difference in your overall, success, being able to just fight with things. And also don't look at the big picture all the time. Celebrate small victories. That's another important thing I want to share, is that I always celebrate small victories. Some people are like, so what? Your social media post did that. Why is that a victory? Well, it's because it's a small win, and I still celebrate every time I get a sale, every time I get a new subscriber, every time. That's a victory worth celebrating. It doesn't mean I go out and party all night, but it's like, yes, good. We did that. Woohoo. That's great. That's exciting. Let's get more. But it's feel good about those small wins, because if you don't, you're going to sit there and feel bad about yourself, because you're going to be like, I never hit the big goal I wanted yet. But there's going to be hundreds of small victories on your way to that number one victory that you need. So celebrate those small wins every time you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can you tell me in one sentence, what are you most grateful for?
Yeah. Most grateful for, my kids. I got 3 wonderful kids, extremely grateful for them. They're awesome, and, just very, very thankful for them. And they really drive me to succeed. They're my why. I think every entrepreneur has a why of some sort. It's, they want to overcome something. They've been through something. They want to help as many people as possible, which is a huge why for me. But obviously when I'm helping other people, I'm able to help my children as well. So they're my why, and that pushes me forward.
100%. And that's such a empowering why, because then it's not just for yourself, it's for someone else. And that makes it all the more powerful.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah, it really does. So yeah, it's great.
So in getting to this level, there's a lot of people who say that there's a lot of different resources or tools or techniques or investing in the higher education, as a lot of people would say. What would you say is the number one book that you would absolutely have to have if everything just disappeared and you only could get one book? What would be the number one book you had to have?
Could get one book. I would say, boy, it's tough to narrow down to one book, but from a business book, I would say I would definitely have to say, and I even thought this one through too. And I'm like, which one would I go with? From a business standpoint, I would say Breakthrough Advertising Secrets. It's one of the best books on copywriting and marketing. And the reason I say that, so people are like, why would you say that? Why not a book on grit and hustle? I mean, those are all things you can learn and that most people have. But if you can master the written communication, verbal communication, and how to make people, not force people to think, but you get people to think a certain way and take action, then you're going to be able to sell anything. So we can write, like in our business, you can write sales copy for anything that's going on. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's somebody, and we have clients ranging everywhere from lupus testing to personal finance advice to obviously running an internet business, training to to people that are teaching people keto diet. And the reality is we can write copy for them the same because we've mastered that. So from a business standpoint, Breakthrough Advertising Secrets. And then obviously the Bible's a great book for really grasping, it's got a lot of not only good stories, but really good proverbs and stories and things that you can put into your life. And there's a lot of good financial principles and business principles that you can pull from Proverbs in the Bible as well. So that's a big one to always have as a reminder. But from a business book, Breakthrough Advertising Secrets, because if you can master copywriting, you will be very good in this world and you can sell anything no matter the crisis that's going on.
I believe it. I believe it. So if you had the ability to travel back in time and talk to either the younger version of yourself or somebody else who was just starting out onto their entrepreneurial journey, what would you say to those individuals?
Yeah, I would tell them just point blank. It's not easy. It's life is, it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Life is not forgiving. Life is not going to let up on you. So you have to be ready to roll with the punches, take the hits, bounce back, and keep going. Because life is got a way of it's going to knock you down. You just have to. There's that real great quote from Les Brown that I love. One of my favorite quote. I've got a lot of favorite quotes, right? I mean, I think as you get these quotes, they stick with you. But where he talks about if life knocks you down, land on your back so you can get up, right? Because if you can look up, you can get up. One of my favorite quotes from Les Brown. Phenomenal quote. And it's so true because life is going to knock you down. You need to be ready to get up, stand, take it, brush it off, and limit the time that you think about the negatives. I give people another analogy in sports, right? If you watch, let's say a baseball pitcher and they throw a pitch and it's right over the middle and they hit it out of the park for a home run. They can feel bad about it for that short time, but they have to get right back on the mound, grab that ball and start throwing again. If they just gave up, they wouldn't have their salary. They wouldn't be where they are. They're just going to walk off the field, So you just have to be quick to forget and know that your next opportunity is right around the corner. And no greater example than what's going on with the pandemic right now. And, all the opportunities that maybe we had that got, either delayed, waylaid, or just, stopped altogether. Okay, we pivot, we readjusted. Now we have a new focus and a new direction.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Paul Counts, where can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners go to learn more about you, what you have going on, and just connect with you?
Yeah. So at any time, you guys can go to marketingcounts.com. Again, that's where we're going to start to be posting more there. So we'll have our content, blog, information, everything is going to be linked in from that area. So yeah, marketingcounts.com is the best spot to go to connect.
That's amazing. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was an honor and I appreciate just being here and be able to pour into their lives. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're most welcome. And I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I have been blown away at your tenacity of going through challenge after challenge after challenge and understanding that life rains on us all. We all get wet, but you keep moving on. And instead of finding the key to success and going to achieve your greatness and doing that by yourself, you decided to do the next best thing. You're now sharing with other people, high school kids, how to market, how to do copy, how to really get a skill in this world that no one else can really give them. And that is so incredible and inspiring that you are doing that, not just for yourself, but for everyone else. And that is amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Well, until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now. And until then, stay limitless forever.
Here's where I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace.
Oh, yeah.
As you just said, technology is not always the most forgiving thing. I had a system on my other computer where as soon as I turned it on, it would start recording.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I realized, oh, wait, I'm not on my normal computer. I'm on my backup one. So what I did is I just said, okay, I'm just going to hit record right now and start, and then finish it up, and then I'll just ask you the first three or four questions, and then we'll just splice it together, and I'll ask my editor to be really nice to me. That's why I love my editor. Now, granted, if you watch some of them, at the end, my editor will put all my bloopers at the end, so that's just how they get back at me, but it works.